Howdy folks, today we're playing Esper Planeswalker Control in Phyrexia All Will Be One Standard. This deck is built around all the new Planeswalkers from the new set. Well, not all of them, but a lot of the good ones. Jace, Vraska, the Eternal Wanderer. I'm excited to see how it does. Hopefully you are too. Let's get to the ladder. Alrighty, we're going first, and this has a little everything we're looking for, so we're keeping here. It has all tap lands too, which is a tad bit unfortunate. I think we'd rather lead on this Marsh. Definitely has to be one of the black lands. Evolve Sleeper, okay. So on turn 3 we can get a Jace down, which is not terrible. Turn 4 we're gonna have it depopulate. They pumped this, we're pretty happy about that. Transmogren's Crown. Sure. Playing the Phyrexian mana here, certainly trying to lock the sleeper down. See, they have a removal spell or a way to get our Jace off the board. If they don't, this could get pretty good for us. Now it's going to incentivize our opponent to really play to the board, and we get this populate going, which is going to be nice. They are going to send a message out. You know what? I respect that. That's how you should do it. You can't let your opponent just get away with Jace shenanigans. You got to send them a message. Too bad we're about to send the depopulate message to our opponent. And I think I'd rather, I think I gotta mill me. Target me, start drawing a card. Darkslick Shores. Tap land, but that's alright. We have 4 in the graveyard, they have a Lily on it, that's fine. We have an Edict for that. We have a second Jace here, I think. We can discard. They are not actually bad in multiples, but okay, that was kind of a poor draw. Yep, we're just gonna have each opponent sacrifice a Planeswalker here. We're gonna plus on this Jace. Target 0 creatures. Play this Darkslick Shores. Now we have the Edict up, which is just insane as an instant, and next time we get this Teferi going, I think we'll Edict most things here, especially that. Non-token creature. Yep, that's you, opponent. Must sacrifice. Marsh. Okay. Teferi going. Go ahead and minus the Teferi. And we want to get our creatures bigger and whatnot. And we're 7 mil, so yeah. Put some stuff in the graveyard. Start drawing a card. Put the +1/+1 counter on the Teferi and the token. See if they have an Invoke Despair here. We still have our Teferi around, which is pretty nice. They do have it. I feel like they needed that to stay in this game. Sacrifice this Jace. Still have the Teferi around though. Yeah, just gonna minus, make it 2/2. And we're going to use the Eternal Wanderer to make another 2/2.
I think this will be a quick one.
And we can blink.
Thank you for your help.
Any creature they play. Oh, a token. They do a token here. We're definitely blinking it with the Eternal Wanderer and just getting it out of here. And Underdog, sure. Blink that.
I'll handle this one.
And he's both in at the Sorin. Do they want to block? We're fine with that block if they do want to block.
Balance may never be restored now.
And okay, yeah. I wasn't gonna tell our opponent that it's over, but they figured it out that it was over already. That's just what it was. Okay. Well, hey, we'll take that dub. GG's. All right, and we're here with a deck tech with Esper Planeswalker Control, built around some of the newest Planeswalkers to the format, most notably Jace, the Perfected Mind. It's a 2 blue and 1 Phyrexia mana, which is either you play with a blue or pay with 2 life. So most of the time in this deck, we're casting it for 3 mana. And for 3 mana, you get a 3 loyalty Planeswalker. That has +1 until your next turn up to 1 target creature gets -3, -0. -2, target player mills 3 cards. Then if a graveyard has 20 or more cards in it, you draw 3 cards. You draw 3 3 cards. Otherwise, you draw 8 cards. So 20 or more cards in the graveyard. Any graveyard, you draw 3. Otherwise, you draw a card. And then -X, target player mills 3 times X cards. The -2 is really good. I think you're almost always going to be targeting yourself. There are instances where you would target your opponent if you feel like you're going to mill them out. Especially you have the -X, which you can really start to get to and getting your opponent out of the game. If you have multiple Jace Perfected Minds in hand, and if you pay for the full 4 mana, if you -X, that's 15 cards milled, and you don't have to do that a couple of times if you're deep in a game for it to really end that game. So Jace has that built-in win condition, but most importantly, it's a 3 mana planeswalker. So I guess I'll go ahead and move it over here so you can kind of visualize it some more. The 3 mana planeswalker that it's +1 soft destroys a creature. Doesn't destroy it, but it kind of locks down their part of their best threat all the time. And it's also really good with cut down. There's lots of creatures in this format that you can't typically kill with Jace or with cut down, but you can now with Jace. So I'm sure you'll see that in the games here, but it's definitely relevant. The Jace is a great card. Another great card is the Eternal Wanderer, which you saw in that game. It has a static ability of no more than 1 creature can attack the Eternal Wanderer each combat. So that's really good for keeping the creature alive. Its +1 is exile up to 1 target artifact or creature. Return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of that player's next end step. This permanently removes tokens from your opponent, which is really good. It also can blink your own creatures if you did have creatures to blink in your deck. This is not that style deck, but you could build some sort of Spirited Companion style value deck that kind of has this going in there. I don't really think that's the way I want to go with Planeswalker control deck, but it's definitely possible. It's 0. It's create a 2/2 white samurai creature token with double strike, which is pretty good. 2/2 samurai double strike, that'll get the game over pretty fast. But really the -4 is it's basically a wrath. For each player, choose a creature that player controls. Each player sacrifices all creatures they control not chosen this way. So if your opponent's got a wide board, you can leave them with their worst creature. That's pretty good. So having your a Planeswalker attached to a wrath is pretty good. The Wandering Emperor is a planeswalker attached to a removal spell, so you can kind of see the synergy there between the Wandering Emperor and the Eternal Wanderer. You can see the storyline synergy there as well. Other than that, you've seen the Wandering Emperor, you've seen Teferi, Temporal Pilgrim. Those cards fit into a regular planeswalker deck, and with all those planeswalkers in mind, the last one we have is Vraska, Betrayal Sting. And this card is really good because it's 0 is you draw a card and lose 1 life. Okay, yeah, that's not good. But then Proliferate. And Proliferate is fantastic in this Planeswalker deck. Things that get proliferated. All your Planeswalkers, Jace, the Wandering Emperor, Teferi, Vraska itself, the Eternal Wanderer. Proliferate means you add 1 more counter of any type to that. So this is a loyalty counter. If Jace has 5 on it, you 0 the Vraska, you proliferate, and now Jace has 6 on it, and that's 3 more cards you could potentially mill. Or that means you can -2 over and over again without losing Jace as often. It's really good. Also, it's really good with the tokens, the Teferi Temporal Pilgrim tokens, because you get creatures that probably have +1/+1 counters on them from when you drew cards, and you proliferate and make them even bigger. And same with the Wandering Emperor tokens. The Wandering Emperor puts a +1/+1 counter on creatures, and you can proliferate that so they get even bigger. So a lot of synergies with the 0 on that, which is pretty good. The -2 is target creature becomes a treasure artifact with tap. Sacrifice this artifact, add 1 mana of any color, and loses all other card types and abilities. So the creature removal spell kind of ramped your opponent a little bit, mostly a removal spell. And so that's kind of the typical Ob Nixilis style. If you go way back, standards of your style Planeswalker. And the -9 is you're probably going to win the game. You get 9 poison counters. You just have to find a way to put another poison counter on them, which you can definitely do with the 0 from the Vraska's Proliferate. I don't actually know if there's another way in this deck besides the Drown and Ichor to get that last Proliferate on. Yeah, but it is theoretically possible to kill your opponent that way. And then we get to the removal suite. You've seen Cut Down before. You've seen Go for the Throat before. Now we get Drown and Ichor, which is target creature gets -4/-4 until end of turn for 2 mana. It's got sorcery speed, which that's kind of tough. This is really a sorcery speed deck. So it's kind of tough in the early turn to also be sorcery speed deck in that regard. You got to kind of live with it though, but it does proliferate, which is fantastic for all the reasons we've outlined here. So we're mostly testing this card. I can see it. I could see a world in which this card is not good enough based on rate alone and the fact that it's sorcery, but we'll see. And then we have Sheoldred's Edict, which is actually really good at taking out Sheoldred. You just saw in that last match. It's a 2-mana instant. Choose one. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature, or they sacrifice a creature token, or they sacrifice a planeswalker. And so you saw us make our opponent sacrifice a Liliana and a Sheoldred. Both pretty good. Those are pretty good modes. This card does run into the risk of your opponent have a really wide board of creatures that don't really matter, and then one creature that does matter. So if they have, 2 Spirited Companions or whatever on the battlefield, and then they have a Sarah Paragon, well, this card's not doing a lot for you. So you have to really try to sequence your plays and get the value out of this card while you can, but it is very powerful, especially the Planeswalker option tacked on there. To round out, we have Celestis, Depopulate, Farewell, kind of just standard Planeswalker deck fare. Farewell is fantastic at a Planeswalker deck since you can exile everything but Planeswalkers and be really happy about where you're at. That's the deck. I'm really excited about it. I think the deck has a lot of power. These Planeswalkers are houses. They do work. And Esper in general just has a pretty good shell already. So yeah. I like this deck. Let's see if it wins more games on the ladder. Okay, opponent's going first, but we have a pretty good amount of creature removal, so hopefully our opponent's doing something that requires us to have creature removal. And it looks like they are playing soldiers, so sure. New soldier, interesting. Guardian of New Benalia. Okay. Should I cut this down? I think I should. That way we can use this Sheoldred's Edict on this Guardian of New Benalia. See what our opponent decides they want to play here. Another Guardian. Yeah, that's kind of tough. Non-token creature. So they're going to sacrifice. Hopefully they don't discard because they'll find out pretty quickly about how that's not going to go in their favor. Another Darkslick Shores is not bad though. And hopefully we can lock down this Guardian with this Jace. We have this Depopulate going, which is not bad. Okay. Don't hate where we're at right now. Mural. Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, we might have to go for the throat that Mural. Yep, that's our plan, and then we're gonna just plus the Guardian with the Jace again. And now we have the mana to depopulate, so we're gonna try to make our opponent commit to the board a little bit more. We've done a good job of containing our opponent's creatures. They've kind of flooded out though. They have 5 lands. That's kind of tough. 2 to the bottom. Your opponent's kind of drawing a lot of lands. Oh yeah, come at me. Send a message, opponent. They don't want to send that message. Okay, it's fairy time. Okay, so this stick probably means they have resolute reinforcements.
Quite a tough opponent.
Which,
nobody knows the past better than me.
If that's the case, I think we should plus again. Could be wrong, but if they have resolute reinforcements, I think we want to be able to save one of our creatures. Yeah, they didn't have it. Recruitment officer. Okay, they're gonna be able to gain some value off of that, so that's good for them. Yeah, that makes sense. Just get that out of the way right now. I mean, yeah, so you can do that at instant speed, so maybe no exact reason to do it then, but okay, we have Farewell open for the next time we Try to wrath their board. This game is probably going to get wrapped up here pretty soon, no? Yeah, play the Kaiser Corlos, -2 this Teferi, and we're gonna mill ourselves here.
Nice to see a familiar face.
We're gonna draw a card, make a 4/4 and a 3/3, which are both pretty good. Go ahead and pass. Yeah, even if our opponent has a Brutal Cathar or something here, we're still gonna be sitting pretty well with this Farewell. And our opponent really has to commit to the board. I would imagine they feel like. Our creature getting bigger and bigger every turn. Lay down arms. Okay. They're both gonna attack Jace. Yeah, I think I'll block the Garden. If they want to make it indestructible, we're definitely fine with that. Siege Vendor and stuff. Okay. They don't kill our Jace. See if they hit a card here. If they whiff, I think we're going to depopulate. They didn't whiff. They hit a Brutal Cathar, though, which is pretty good, actually.
How foolish.
Ooh. Now that is pretty good. Not good enough for me to not depopulate, though. Get our value and make sure they don't keep hitting value with the recruitment officers, though. Our opponent's a little nervous that we're going to hit him with a Wrath and that the game is going to be over. And I would say their concern is pretty well-founded here. Opponent probably knows this is some GG. They could discard and make this indestructible. That is a play available to them. Yeah, we're just gonna minus, continue to build our board. I think this time we'll plus on this Guardian. Opponent knows it's a futile effort. Not a lot they can do against the just overwhelming values our Planeswalkers are creating. We ended that game at 21 life. That's not what you want to see if you're on the soldier side of things, but that's great for us, so GG. We have lands, we keep. Simple as that. Darkslick Shores, turn 2. Lets us play this Sheldred's Edict. It's specifically bad against Thalia. That's what our opponent is going to do to us. Looks like they're going to spare us from that exact fate. And instead of having to play the Celestis, we get to play Jace, which I think is quite the upgrade.
Surrender your mind to Phyrexia's will.
Yeah. I don't think our opponents can have any haste or anything, so I think we're pretty safe to -2 here. Try to hit some land. Okay, next turn we have this Celestis and this Edict, which is not bad. We have a way to lock down our opponent's creature with the Jace as well. If they want to attack our Jace, we are very fine with that. Yep. Not too worried about that one there. Pretty glad our opponent took a turn off there. Unless this is a control deck of some sort giving us tempo, it's probably not going to be too good for them in the long run. Sure, yeah. Let us loot. We have a Wandering Emperor, probably. We can pass their own Wandering Emperor up, or we can just cast this Teferi. I think we're gonna plus though. Pretty sure our opponents has a Wandering Emperor going on.
Now that is an interesting fact.
And so if they want to go all out again, they can kill our Teferi with the plus and the Mistress Foundry. But if they keep doing that, they're gonna keep falling behind. Wedding announcement, okay. Coming at Teferi, yep.
Guess you're not joking around.
We can play this for 4. Which is what I think for 5 of me, which I think is what we're gonna do. So we can have the Sheldred's Edict up.
Death is obsolete.
I think we're just gonna minus onto the Samurai. And we're gonna minus the Teferi. We're gonna have this Edict up.
It's nice to see a familiar face.
We're gonna pass. If our opponent wants to get busy with Mistress Foundry, we're definitely fine with that again. Okay, it's on the back side of the Brutal Cathar though. So not too worried about what's going on there. Opponent drops the oops, okay. Yep. They did not mean to do that. No, another Brutal Cathar, okay. Sure. Create a Samurai.
Guards, to me.
Do I want them to make them sacrifice their Wandering Emperor? So they're gonna flip this Moonrage Brute. So I think we're gonna have them sacrifice one of the Brutes. They're still gonna be able to flip another one here, which definitely is not gonna be great for us. Draw a card and discard this Dark Slick Shores. I think we minus with this Teferi.
I've got eyes.
Draw a card and lose a life.
Downtrodden rise together.
Proliferate here. With a cut down for that Brutal Cathar, which I think we're pretty likely to cast. Play the Shipwreck March, and we do have both Wandering Emperor and a Ganjo up, which is nice. So go ahead and pass at this point. See what our opponent's getting busy with. Feels like a crucial turn for our opponent that they need to kill some Planeswalkers, but it's gonna cost. It's gonna cost them a little bit to do so. Okay. It's not bad. Split the counters up. Yep, that makes sense. Opponent Brutal Catharin pretty good right now. Are they gonna plus on the Wandering Emperor or not? If they plus on this 4/4, it's gonna be real annoying for our Ganjo. They decide not to. Okay.
Let your blade do the talking.
So yeah, we're definitely going to kill Samurai here. And we are also definitely going to play this Wandering Emperor. The question is, what are we going to do with it? Okay, opponent doesn't even let us decide. They just say, GG's, I'm out. And we're fine with that. We'll take that. GG's. We're out too. Okay, our opponent goes first, and we need to draw lands, but I have faith that we can. See what they're on. Tap land, go. Okay. We can play an Evolved Sleeper that we can cut down. We'd be happy about that. Nope, they're just gonna pass. So are we. They play a Rafine here. We're pretty happy about that with our Edict. Nothing, okay. Do you want to slam this Jace or pass? What are the odds they don't have it? They have nothing. I feel like they probably have a counterspell here, but we'll test the waters. Make disappear, yep. Alright, what are you gonna resolve, opponent? Picker Moon Gauntlet. Okay. We have Jace going of our own here. I think we're just gonna pay the full 4. I don't think cut down is gonna do too much. We're gonna mill us. Draw our card. Wandering Emperor, okay. So what our opponent has for creatures. Do they have any creatures? We will see. Oh, an edict, okay. That's pretty good. You know, it's also pretty good. Teferi. Teferi is also pretty good. Okay. Plan that, see what our opponent has to say about it. They have an edict again. We're not too sad about it. Okay. Moon Gauntlet, but not getting a whole lot of value out of it right now. Do they have a way to kill our spirit? It's a big question. What do they have? Teferi making an army is gonna probably pose a problem for our opponent. Untapping some lands, okay. If I had another untapped land, I would keep up Edict and Wandering Emperor and just jam, but I think I'm gonna try to attack the Teferi here. Okay, that works. I'm gonna make another Teferi, and we're just gonna plan on casting a Wandering Emperor and or a Edict. Based on what is happening. If they plus here, to me it indicates that they probably have a Wrath. Might just Wrath first, and plus later though. If they have, say, a Farewell here. Yeah, then I think now, before they activate it, we're gonna make them sacrifice a Planeswalker. That way they can't get the extra value from the minus and the Moon Gauntlet. Creatures in graveyards, gone. I mean, that's fine. I mean, we have Teferi going on here. They have another land, sure. We have a Shattered Sanctum, which is not bad. And we have this Eternal Wanderer, which we're definitely about to cast.
Another mystery song.
We could plus this Moon Gauntlet, but don't know how good that even is. So we'll just make a double striker. And we'll have a cut down up and pass. Opponent probably knows that we have a cut down in hand based on that stick and priority we just had in the 2/2. Okay, so our opponent probably has a Wandering Emperor. It's good to know. So I think the first thing we're gonna do is just attack with the Samurai. Memory Deluge. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty good. Get some good card advantage here. They have a way to kill our 2/2. They have a go for the throat. Sure. The nice part with what we've been able to do so far is we've been able to keep our opponents off the board, Planeswalker wise, so they can't. This gauntlet has basically been blank cardboard, which is nice for us so far. Sheldred's Edict. We'll resolve that, and we're going to cast a Wandering Emperor in response. So that way we can sacrifice that. But they're going to cast another Edict. Sure. Okay, we're going to resolve, and they can get rid of our Eternal Wanderer. Have the Wandering Emperor, and we're going to make the Samurai where we can. And then we're going to sacrifice it. This Jace, this Teferi is pretty valuable, so we want to do everything in our power to keep it around. Honestly, Otawara is not bad either. Yeah, just make it 2/2. Big board here. Put the pressure on our opponent. Down to 13. Have Wandering Emperor. Opponent probably needs a Wrath here. Don't think that's gonna get it done. Opponent probably knows it's GG's here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They have 8.
I am the Emperor of Kamigawa.
Opponent's
and I
counting
will
currently
protect my
to see if they if they have any way to stay alive. And yeah, we've kind of just made sure our opponent's Ichabod Gauntlet doesn't get any value. It's been pretty good for us. This Edict has been really good in the Planeswalker mirrors. Samurai time.
May your blades
Going to my turn. Gonna plus the Teferi.
Much to consider.
So if they have exactly one removal spell, let's say it's a cut down. This is coming in for 9. That's already 13, so doesn't matter where this counter goes. If they only have one removal spell. If they have a cut down here, they're still taking 13. Yep. So if I did my math correctly, if I come up one short, it's gonna be on me. Doesn't look like it though. Gets our opponent to exactly 0. That's what we called exactsies in the business. And big dub in the business too. Big dub. We're in the business of just casting a bunch of Planeswalkers and taking the game over. Really good against Farewell. That's our opponent's main game plan. They weren't really prepared to play the mirror, and we kind of just outvalued them. GG's. I'll take that. Alrighty, let's get into the wrap up. Okay, we're here with a wrap up for Esper Planeswalker Control, and all the new Planeswalkers were really good. Jace Perfected Mind does its great job of soft locking creature and giving you card advantage and being a potential win con. Vraska is just crazy in this deck with a proliferate and the ability to lock down a creature with a -2. Eternal Wanderer making two double strikes every turn is really good. Can't really be attacked in combat. The +1 is very relevant and getting blockers out of the way and things like that. Yeah, it all turned out to be really well. All these cards mesh well together with the Teferi and the Wandering Emperor. Depopulate's always a really good Wrath for 4 mana. And then the other standout card I would say in this iteration of the deck was Sheoldred's Edict, which the sacrificing a Planeswalker mode was just really fantastic. So all around, great deck. Had a great time playing it, and I honestly would recommend this deck on the ladder. I mean, I don't know if I would use all the wild cards in the world to make it, but if these are cards you're going to craft anyway, I think this is a deck you'd be happy to put together. If you like this video on the Planeswalker Control, you'll probably like the last video about the oil control. So check that video out on your screen right now. And until next time, wherever you are, whenever you are, have a magical day.